Boys and girls, I'm back on YouTube to talk about guitar speakers. Once again, I'm going to show you some great sounding high-gain guitar speakers. And once again, I'm going to show you some speakers you probably have never heard before. That means I'm not going to show you the usual Celestion stuff. We're making a trip to Italy today. Right, we're checking out Jensen guitar speakers. Italy? Jensen? Yes. Jensen, of course, is a legendary American speaker company, but the speakers are designed and produced in Italy these days, unlike other companies that produce their speakers in China. Anyway, not many of my fellow metal guitarists know much about Jensen speakers. Have you ever played a Jensen speaker? Maybe in a 4x10 or 2x12 Fender combo or something? But I bet you haven't played any Jensen speakers in a closed back 4x12, have you? But that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna check out 3 different Jensen speakers. Today's question is, can Jensen do metal? Have a listen to this. Some of you might remember that I've already talked about one Jensen speaker, and that was in my very first speaker video. That was still on the URM Academy channel. Back then I was talking about the Tornado Stealth 65, which is a pretty modern design, lightweight, neodymium magnets, speaker, and I like that one, especially for, ironically, for old school tones like doom or stoner kind of tones. That's a good speaker. Today I'm checking out 3 other speakers. Why 3? Well, because I want to hear them in the same 4x12 cab. Today I'm using an oversized Marshall cab that you can see here. And that Marshall cab sounds great. I've got 3 Jensen speakers in there, only 3, because I also want to have a Celestion Vintage 30 so we can compare. That Vintage 30 is from 2003. And it is from a Mesa Boogie cabinet. And all the speakers are in 8 ohm. And yeah, let's check them out. Let's have some fun. I'm playing my beloved Fernandez Ravel baritone guitar, which is loaded with EMG pickups. And I'm playing, once again, my lovely Brunetti Extra Lead, which I have been using in many of my videos because I like it very much. And it's a kind of neutral, middle of the road sounding tube amp. Kind of classic high gain design. I really like that amp. But something is different today. I'm only on the Crunch channel. Maybe you can see the yellow light there. It's not the red light. And that is because I just received a new pedal, a new boost pedal. I fell in love with. Really cool pedal from MLC, Polish company I had never heard before. But this one looks nice and sounds really nice, as you might hear. You have already seen it in the intro, right? So the main, or at least 50% of the distortion is coming from this thing. And yeah, let's check it out. So this is the sound of the amp without the pedal. Let's boost it. I like those lower mids. I like that low end. If you compare this to, let me turn the pedal off and just use the high gain channel of the Brunetti, you can hear how loose the low end is. Back to the Crunch channel. Now, you get a tighter sound, but it sounds kind of creamy in the lower mids. Nice pedal. All right, let's talk about the speakers. We're gonna start with the industry standard, which is the V30. Let me just switch the speakers. This is the V30. And that is, of course, a great sounding speaker. I've described the sound several times. It's a mid-forward speaker with a lot of information in the mids, but without sounding honky, without sounding scooped, and without sounding weird. So really balanced mid-range. It has enough low end to make those palm mutes sound fat, and it has a nice aggressive upper mid-range that makes, your guitar jump out of a mix. Yeah, in general, very mid-forward, which just makes the guitar sound very present. And once again, this is not any V30. This is a good sounding V30 that is almost 20 years old, made in Britain and taken from a Mesa Boogie cab. So let's check out the first Jensen speaker. This is my favorite Jensen metal speaker. This is the Nighthawk in 8 ohm. My favorite speaker because it's really plug and play. It's easy to mic. Just throw a 57 in front of it. Don't go too much in the middle. That might be a little too harsh, but still easy to mic. And it has character and sounds unique. Sounds like this. So how does this one sound compared to the V30? First of all, this speaker has a lot of low end, but usable low end. Might be the thickest usable low end I've ever heard from a speaker. Both in the room and also through the microphone. So really, really thick. Thicker, a little thicker than the V30, but not too far away from the V30. But then it really changes because the mid-range really sounds different than a V30. It is a lot more scooped. So you don't have that dense mid-forward sound of the V30. It's kind of the opposite. It sounds really clean and a little carved out, but again, without sounding weird. Less vocal mids, nothing honky at all, but then you have a lot of upper mid bite, even more than the V30. So a kind of hi-fi sounding speaker if you want. Very different from the V30. Let's have a listen. So that aggressive upper mid bite together with that low end thump really makes things sound brutal. Like. This speaker kind of sounds a little old school, a little 90s or it sounds like a V30 like transferred back to the 90s or something when people used to scoop the mids a lot more. And that makes it sound very, very clean and very compact. Now that you've heard the speaker, let's go back to the V30 and compare the two. Way more mids. Now this almost sounds a little telephony. So you know what I mean by mid-forward, right? This speaker really concentrates on the mids, whereas the Nighthawk is more or less the opposite. Let's go back to the Nighthawk. Brutal sounding speaker. I don't like it for like nice lead melodies or something. It sounds a little too harsh and a little too aggressive in the upper mids here. But if you are a rhythm guitar player and you like palm mutes and you want to sound brutal, and you don't mind sounding a little old school and a little scooped, this speaker might be for you. You know what? I just used this speaker on the new Aborted album for reamping. I used a few speakers, but one of them was this one. And that was because Aborted asked for a little colder, a little cleaner sound compared to last time. And this speaker was perfect. They have just released a new single. Check it out. Great song. Okay, let's move on to the next speaker. If you don't want a scoop sound, if you want a lot more information in the mids, if you want your mids to be a lot more dense and vocal, I can recommend another speaker. And that is a speaker that doesn't sound or look metal at all. It's the C12K2. Have you heard about that one? Not really, right? It sounds like this. Pretty nice. On this speaker, I'm using a filter on the way in because it has a lot more sizzle. Let me just turn off the filter. Can you hear that? But that can be EQ'd out really easily. There's a filter, I think, at 11K or something. So that is a very different tone, right? Like I said, packed with mid information. Maybe a little honky, but if you like mids, if you want to be present in the mids, if you want to play like vocal sounding melodies, this is a very nice speaker. And it's still tight enough. For something like this, for the palm mutes. So this speaker, like I said, seems to be the opposite of the Nighthawk, right? So, bingo. What about combining those two speakers? Good idea, right? Let's do that. Let me just get the phase right. There's still a lot of bite around 2K, like gang, gang, gang. So it feels like you get a lot of the precision and the attack of the Nighthawk, and it's filled up with the nice lower vocal mids of the K2. Let's go back to the V30. Oh, a storm outside. Can you see the rain? You know, combining speakers, if you do it right, is something really, really powerful. By the way, check out my guitar tone crafting course. You'll find a link below because I'm showing exactly that: how to combine, how to craft guitar tones, how to use the right amps, how to dial them in, but also how to combine several microphones on speakers or impulse responses. Yeah, the V30 sounds really precise, but also a little boring. The last speaker I want to show you is the Electric Lightning. And I'm not the biggest fan of that speaker because when I mic'd it like the typical way, using a 57 pointing at the edge of the dust cap, it sounded so dark. So I didn't like it at all. Then I found out you really actually have to move the microphone right in front of the dust cap, right in the middle of the speaker, where you get the most highs and where things sound too harsh and too brittle usually. But this is the only position I could use, and it sounds like this. And because the microphone is right in the middle, we can hear a lot of I'm going to EQ that out. Much better. Now we hear more of the actual tone of the speaker. So this speaker is not as balanced as the other one. It's still a little dark, but it has nice lower mids. So I want to use this speaker once again to fill up the Nighthawk. That's what I've been using it all the time for. Like, I used it on my IR pack for Bogren Digital, the Rainbows and Chainsaws pack. That combination is just wonderful. Before I combine it with the Nighthawk, let's have another listen to the V30. So this speaker still sounds a lot darker than the other ones. It doesn't have the typical higher mid bite that a V30 has, but it has a nice lower mid-range, a vocal mid-range once again. It reminds me a little bit of the Tornado Stealth because it sounds great for stuff like this. But it's not the most present sounding speaker, and it's not gonna cut through a metal mix that easily. But you know what I've been using this speaker for? This has been the perfect companion for the Nighthawk, because once again it fills up the Nighthawk with those lower mids if you want them. So I'm gonna start with the Jensen Nighthawk, and I'm gonna fade in the Electric Lightning. Nighthawk. That sounds so metal. That's really like a 90s or even earlier scooped tone. Okay, so let's add some creamy mids by fading in the Electric Lightning. Amazing, right? That combination. Very, very sexy. So if you want to build your custom Jensen 2x12 cab, try the Nighthawk with the Electric Lightning. I think that is a great combination. And in the studio, if you throw two 57s on those speakers, you know, you can just blend between something rather cold, compact, and old school and brutal sounding, and something warm and kind of lush and a little dark, or in between. But you know what? I have a great idea. Let's do that. I'm gonna capture two IRs now. One IR will be Nighthawk with the K2, and the other IR will be Nighthawk with the Electric Lightning. And I'm gonna add those two IRs to my Rainbows and Chainsaws IR pack at Bogren Digital as a bonus. So if you have already purchased the pack, you will get two new IRs. If not, this is one more reason to get this amazing sounding IR pack. That Nighthawk sounds so crusty. Anyway, we're gonna continue with the ABCD comparisons now, so you can, you know, once again listen to the speakers without, you know, being annoyed by all my blah blah blah. And yeah, straight ABCD comparisons are always helpful. Let's do that now. at the end of the video. I want you to check out the MLC pedal and support those guys in Poland. They are really cool. They also make some amps and make some cabinets that I have not checked out yet, but I think I want to check them out. If you like the speakers, support Jensen. They're a great company. There's also an interview with Ignacio from Jensen on this channel. Actually, my most successful video so far. I think I should let him do the talking, not me, you know? That's more successful. Anyway, check out that interview if you want to know more about the Jensen history and about, you know, how smart that guy is. Check out the Bogren IR pack, you know, for some nice Jensen tones. What else? What else? Nothing. That's all for today. I'm gonna check out some more guitar speakers in the future. I also have some other gear to check out, like this lovely Amp 1 from Blue Guitar. It has been here for a while. I've already used it on a production, but I haven't found the time to make a video yet. I know you guys want to see it. As usual, tell your friends and grandma about this channel. Subscribe to this channel. Ring the bell, ding dong. If you need more Kristian Kohle, you want to subscribe to my email list below. I do monthly videos. They are called Beer with Kohle, where I drink beer and talk nonsense. So if you need that in your life, subscribe to my email list. What else? Here are my socials. Check them out. Follow me fucking everywhere. There will be a meeting very soon where you can meet me. If you are on my email list, you will get all the information about this. Come to Germany. Get drunk. It's fun. Beer is good. All right, that's all for today, guys. I love you all, boys and girls. See you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.